Good evening, all. Today's our topic is Victorian Age. The Victorian Age started in the year 1837 and ended in 1901. Victorian Age. Why it is called as Victorian Age? So, in the history of United Kingdom, when the Queen Victoria ruled, ruling queen at that time was Queen Victoria. That's why it is called as Victorian Age. Let's have a look at the history of England. In the last class, we have learned about Romanticism, and we have also came to know that the uh, king at that time was George III, and he was known for his madness. So after George III, George IV came to the crown. He ruled after George IV. His brother William IV came to the crown, and after his death, his niece Queen Victoria came to the crown. So, in the history of United Kingdom and the British Empire, the Victorian was the period of Queen Victoria's reign from 1837 to 1901. Clear? The ruling queen of that period was Queen Victoria, and the period lasted in 1901 when the queen died. She was known for, let me write, she was crowned at the young age. Victoria was only 18 years old when she was crowned, and she faced with ruling an extensive empire of over 400 million people, including the nation Australia, New Zealand, Canada, South Africa, and India. These were all the nations ruled by Queen Victoria. Because उस time colonization start हो गया था, and these were all the countries um, was in control of Victoria. She is one longest ruling monarch. Longest monarch in English history, she kept the throne for 63 years and 7 months. Before Queen Elizabeth II beat her record in 2015, and Queen Victoria died wearing 81. In the year 1876, she won the title of Empress of India. Like Queen Victoria won this title. It was when India was colonized by British. So the Victorian age is divided into three parts. The Victorian age is divided into three parts. Early Victorian age, mid Victorian age, and late Victorian age. So the Victorian age is divided into three parts. Early Victorian age is from 1837 to 1848. Mid Victorian age is from 1848 to 1870, and late Victorian age is from 1870 to 1901. Let's see what more is there. So, it was the constitutional monarch. Industrial industries were emerged at this time. Scientific developments occur at this time. American literature developed a lot at this time. In this period, novels were written more. Like Victorian period is also known as the period of novels. And in this period, the competition was very high in writing novels. And the developments were happening simultaneously at this period. So camera came in this period, telegraph came in this period. All these developments were happening one side, but on the other side, women were dominated. Women were not given equal right with the men. And this was also the period of haves and have nots, like rich and the poor. Even the English in that period was used as Victorian English by the royals only and basic English by others all. And the vote system, universal manhood suffrage, means a voting system was came into existence in the age of Victoria, and it was also decided that annual elections will be happening for the parliament. Great exhibition held by Britons in UK. So in the period of Victoria, there was held a great exhibition in the palace known as Crystal Palace, which is in London. So that exhibition held to show all the achievements done by the Britishers, and they want to show like what all they have achieved. So that exhibition was held, and it is one of the most famous and what we can say marked thing of that period. So Victorian age was divided into three parts. The novels of the Victorian era are generally based on very strong concept, and that is morality. Matlab, the concepts of that period of novels were based on morality. In a society where modern industries were emerging rapidly one side, many literature works were sought to bring out the other harsh reality of the landless people, landless working class, and portray the actual conditions of the society. The great age of English fiction and prose. We will get a question like Victorian age is the age of uh, like in literature. So Victorian age is also the age of novels. Uh, in the similar way, poetry age means the Romantic era was the age of poetry. Then Elizabethan age was the age of drama. So let's have a look at this. The famous poets of the Victorian era. Charles Dickens. He wrote the first novel before the Victorian era, and the novel was the Pickwick Paper novel. See, he wrote the. I told you that it is the era of novels, but Dickens was a person who wrote his novel before the Victorian era, because um, uh, if suppose an apple is going to ripe, so directly it won't become an apple. First we have to sow the seeds, that will be a raw apple, then it will be like apple to be eaten. So in the similar way, novels did not emerge like suddenly someone wrote the book and it came as novel. So सबका एक time होता, time period लगता. तो ऐसे ही novels का भी time period आने time लगा. So before the Victorian age, Charles Dickens wrote his first book. The second famous writer of this era is Bronte sisters. So there were three sisters, but two of them was very famous. They produced some of the literature masterpieces of their period. Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. In that she wrote about a tale of unresolved passion. It draws a lively picture of contemporary society. And Jane Eyre, novel by Charlotte Bronte, which narrates growth of the young woman. So these are the two famous books written by Bronte sisters. There were three sisters, but two of them were very famous. The other famous writer of the Victorian era include George Eliot or Mary Annie Ewes. As I told you that women was suppressed in that period. So some of the women they used to write in the name of men's. Like they don't reveal their names. They used to write um, as a male who adopted male name to distance themselves from the light-hearted romances. So one of that writer was George Eliot. Her actual name was Mary, and she used to write as George Eliot, but her actual name was Marianne. So let's see about the non-fiction writers of that period. The Victorian era witnessed the creation of several scholarly works. The Communist Manifesto analysis, where the emerge of Karl Marx and Frederick happened. So they both used to write about the Communist Party. The list of the famous writers of the Victorian era is thus long and illustrious. They enriched the treasury of the English language, and we cannot complete all of them. And as per your syllabus, this was the important part of the Victorian age. I hope you all understood the class. Clear?